thank you so much for being here tonight.
No F-bombs, no cursing. No F-bombs, no cursing.
That's her mantra tonight.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Yes, well, so tell us a bit about your new series.
Well, I'm from Boston and New York, and I married a Southern gentleman. And the textbook way of handling a marriage is you actually have to live with the guy you walk down the aisle with. So when he turned around to me and said, I no longer know what I'm doing in New England, I said I am not moving to Kentucky. And we all know how that went, because if I hadn't moved down, I wouldn't have written The Bourbon Kings. And they have this adage for authors that you should write what you know. And that obviously didn't work with the vampire series, because I've actually never met any vampires, but it did work very well with The Bourbon Kings. I think that one of the things that makes books interesting, aside from good conflict, is a regional vocabulary, a world building that is at once unique and captivating, but something that's sort of out of the ordinary. And I think the Southern culture and the Southern lifestyle is a very specific regional character in and of itself. I'm sorry, let me try this again. Hi. I'm so glad we could be here, because now when I try not to curse, you'll really know it. Okay, so my thing is that I feel like the South is its own character, and it's not like any other place in the United States or in the world for that matter. And when I first pitched the idea about 5 years ago I was sitting in my mother's sitting room, and my publisher immediately said that people love the South. They're fascinated by it. And I think there are more sort of expectations for behavior down here, not necessarily in all places, but it's not the Regency ton, but there are certain expectations that can create conflict between characters. So between me moving down here, spending 10 years in the South, really immersing myself in that culture because, that's where I live now, and then also recognizing that it offers some really interesting territory to explore for characters. So that's sort of how I came to write it and sort of the character of the book itself.
Right. So as an expat Yankee, did you experience any culture shock when you moved down here?
What is the secret? No, not at all. It was a seamless transition that made me realize that I had always been Southern my entire life. I was thinking about doing a curse jar, and maybe make it so that we don't actually put any money in it this time. I'm a born and bred Bostonian New Yorker, and the first thing that I realized about moving into the South was that you didn't need to pack an overnight bag and a sandwich to get to the airport. Because if you're in Boston and you want to get to Logan Airport, you're leaving days before your plane takes off. My heart's always going to be up there. My hardwiring is up there. I'm one of those annoying little speedy running people that's always working, and I can remember dating my husband, and he would sort of stroll down Newbury Street, and I'd be like power walking on to the next thing. But he slowed me down, and I love living down here. I love college basketball now. I love being able to have a great yard for my dog and my kid, and I love, frankly, the weather. I just love the weather down here. Oh, come on now, girl. I love a tornado. Give me a good one. I don't want... That can F some S up, but, I can remember moving down here and the tornado sirens going off, and it's September, and we're in the basement for the third night in a row, and I really, no kidding, looked at my husband and was like, I'm from Boston, I don't do this. Well, now 10 years from now, I love big storms, and I love the fact that we still have 4 seasons down here, but winter doesn't last from October to May. So yeah, I get back because of work a lot up north, and we summer up north, but it's, I don't know, I love the South now, so.
Oh, great. Well, you wrote in on a big storm, so.
I did, it was very exciting. Yeah.
So after writing paranormal romances for so long, what inspired this new series to be in a contemporary setting?
My mentor is Sue Grafton. And she, ooh, I can actually curse, and it's legal, because I didn't actually say this. This is great. So she said, if you're not scaring the shit out of yourself, you're not working hard enough. And so, after a while, this could be my way. I didn't realize that the lawyer in me is thrilled that I found a loophole. F yeah. So the thing is that what was the question? I got so excited about my curse words. You don't understand. I talked to myself all the way down from Louisville about this. I'm sorry.
What inspired you to switch genres?
So I love writing the BDB books, and as long as they keep talking to me, I'm, God willing, going to still write them. They're totally open-ended. I have 6 books planned out at this point. But I think that it's important to make sure that you keep challenging yourself and scaring yourself. It's really important to make sure that you don't get stale. And I love Dynasty. In case you haven't noticed, I kind of want to be Alexis Carrington Colby when I grow up. Only like without the facelift, because my husband said I wasn't allowed to get one. Otherwise, I'd be jacking this shit up like you wouldn't. But no. Oh. I knew it was too good to last. I opened the door, and now I'm in the room. I'll bet you Stephen King did not curse. Go ahead. It's on your. No, it's on your face. She's like, no. It just didn't. So anyway, what was the question again? Have you noticed I got ADHD?
The genre?
Right. Yes, I'm getting. All right. So the thing is that I love watching Dynasty. I love that, but I also watch the market very carefully. And it's not that I write to the market, but I want to know, what do people want to read about? I mean, this is a job for me. I mean, I love what I do, but I also want to publish at a really high level. So the question is with the stuff that spits out of my brain, what are the nexuses? What are the connections to popular culture? What are people watching on TV? What are they reading about? What is in magazines? What are, aside from the frickin' Kardashians, which I'm like so tired of that. But anyway, although Caitlyn Jenner does have really good legs. I mean, I just wanted to put that out there. But I did think it was really important to try and do something else, do something different. So after the Fallen Angel series came to its natural conclusion, I went to my publisher and I said, I have this idea, and it's Dynasty, and it's Dallas, it's Knots Landing, it's Downton Abbey in the New South, and she said, don't use the word family saga, no one will ever buy it. And I was like, but she said, here's the deal, write the outline, show me what you got. And I wrote it to her, and she was like, oh, this is really good. I was like, oh, thank God. So they bought 3 books, and I wanted to just do something. You'll notice the connections between it and the Black Dagger Brotherhood. There's, both of them have core groups of people. It's not just like one couple, or it's not just one family. It's an entire community. And I love exploring the different dynamics within communities and peoples and lives and how they interact, and how things, both good and bad, happen to influence where the characters end up. So it was just, I don't know. I wanted to be Alexis Carrington Colby, and this is as close as I can get.
Well, I feel like definitely this is obviously a different sort of series, and we've obviously got a lot of Black Dagger Brotherhood series fans in here. So what other aspects beyond just the focus on the group do you think will appeal to these readers for the Bourbon Kings?
There is banging.
It's true. It's true.
I'm not talking about hammers and nails. This is not a construction zone. I'm just saying there might be some, but not a lot. It's a very different. I think also what you're going to find is really good conflict. I think the Brotherhood has, there's mortal threats coming with the war. There's, things against the, Wrath and his kingship. There are all 12 kinds of different conflicts with the Band of Bastards and all that stuff. In the Bourbon Kings, Is that the cursing police coming for me? Because no offense, I got to get the fuck out of here. I'm taking the shoes off, and I'm running out there. And then I'm going to look at my bodyguard, and I'm going to say, Chuck, throw me on your shoulders. Get me out of here. Sorry. And I remember what the question was. No, I didn't. I lied.
I can't remember either. So there's obviously a lot of appeal for these readers.
So the thing is that, you know, aside from the fact that there are romantic interests, romantic elements, and romantic relationships, the single thing that I love best about the BDB books now is the what next factor. And I think the Bourbon Kings has that a lot as well. You know, what's going to happen next? You know, who actually may or may not have killed someone? I think that real life is a lot like that. It's like you always want to know, like, what's going to happen next. And so I think that hopefully, I don't want to say addicting quality because that makes me sound like a crack dealer. But I mean, like, it's, you know, that people will be invested enough in the stories and the characters to want to come back.
I certainly.
It's not bad.
No, I really want to know what happens next. At the end of this book, you'll want to know what happens. So with all the luxurious details about the palatial family estate of Easterly, the beautiful gowns and the upstairs-downstairs dynamic, it kind of felt almost historical,
yes.
like a Downton Abbey-esque.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, I'm sure that you had to do some digging into Southern culture. What sort of research did you do, if any?
I didn't do a lot of research. My husband comes from a very old Southern family, and the South is full of characters. So the difference between the South and the North is that Southern people actually like eccentric folks. And Northerners want to kind of iron us all out and like make us all smooth or put us in closets. And the Southerners are like, oh, they're crazy, fantastic. So people have been really kind to me, you know, because I'm nuts. And so I really, you know, just by getting to know people, there are there's one thing that is very different. The Black Dagger Brotherhood books, all of those characters, those people were in my head fully formed from the beginning. No people in real life influenced them at all, but I found that with the Bourbon Kings, there are some Southern characters that I have met that were such literary caricatures of them, like they're literally caricatures of themselves. They're like, really? Like, seriously, you're pulling that shit out of your closet and wearing it with a straight face to my house? Like, you're fabulous. I mean, so there are a couple of people who are in the Bourbon Kings for the first time. Lizzie and Greta are both based on two of my really good friends. Samuel T. Lodge is based on one of my husband's hunting buddies. One of my poker player friends is the master distiller. Just because they're such evocative people and they're interesting, but and that's a departure for me. They're not exact. They're sort of like broadly representative of these people because they're just so fascinating. They're just wonderful characters, so I didn't really do a lot of research. I just lived here for 10 years, you know?
That's research enough, I think.
Well, that's true.
So I was really struck by the world building of the estate of Easterly, and Easterly is definitely a different type of world. And you're known for your terrific world building in your paranormal series. I was wondering sort of how the writing process differed for you with this.
It really didn't. Other than, you know, being at a cocktail party and being like, you're going in the book. You don't know that, but this shit right here is going in the book. Because no one will believe it, and therefore they'll think it's fiction. But I think that there are some grand Southern estates that still exist. That have that number of people working at them, and it's a fascinating. And you're right, it is almost historical when you go into these homes and you see the lifestyle. It's sort of there almost is no place in modern life for it anymore. Just the idea that your needs are so completely catered to by other people, and that you're experiencing your own home as a hotel. As in terms of like having people who are, when you go to a hotel, you expect to have your towels refreshed, and you expect to have people running vacuums at 3 a.m. And to live in a private household that has waves of gardeners and rules for when they can go out. And I mean, it's so captivating because you think to yourself, this can't exist anymore in the worlds of iPads and, you know, The Bachelorette, for God's sakes, and like, you know, all these things that are modern, like fleeces and, you know, yoga pants. I mean, they don't even know what these things are, you know, and I find it charming. I find it slightly frightening. I find it a bit naive. But most of all, I find it captivating. And I think that the idea that modern life has very few rules anymore in terms of who you can marry, who you can be with, who you can associate with, what you can wear. And there is a certain stratosphere that exists where those value systems that existed 100 years ago are still in place, are still adhered to, and God save you if you violate them. And so I kind of wanted to bring that forward because I think it's very interesting. I wouldn't want to live like that, but, you know, because I got to get my F-bombs in. You know, the good Christian woman that I am.
Of course. So without spoiling any plot elements,
which I'm incapable of doing. Yeah. I always spoil. Okay.
Not today.
So I got this. I could do this.
There's an element of. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go.
You're really
having a little
conversation
with myself.
Yeah. So there's an element of mystery to this series that you worked in. So what was it like adding this element of mystery? Because that's pretty new.
Okay.
For
So
you.
here's the thing. You ever been in an out of control car?
No, I really hope.
Okay.
Never.
Okay. Well, I've just told something of myself. I've been in an out of control car, not once, but several times. And I drive the way I write, which is not good.
Wow.
I have no control over anything, you know, and so what happens is when I start to write, the pictures in my head start going, and if I try and influence them in any way, they stop. And I am a bona fide blonde. I am not all that bright. I'm not capable of thinking these stories up. So I step back and just let them do what they're going to do. And my job is recording what I'm seeing on the page so that people who read it can kind of get a sense of what I'm seeing in my head. So the fact that someone dies, I'm so close. I'm sorry. But he dies, he effing dies. You see him at the end, and he doesn't look good. Things have not improved for him after he started, you know, the whole death thing does not make people look good. It's not what?
Just stop talking.
Oh. Do you want to take this away? Just... Okay. Thank you. Okay. I'll hurt you. Okay. All right. Well, I already spoiled that. Anyway, so the bottom line is I just go with what I'm shown.
Right.
And so it wasn't that I don't have any conscious thought of introducing anything into the series. Just like I have no conscious ability to stop from spoiling, I have to just go with what I'm shown. And so when it turns out that maybe someone goes to their royal reward, how's that? Good? Yeah, right? Okay. No, just that was what happened, so that's what got into the book. I don't actually, when I outline the book, I am very disciplined about that. I need to know before I start on chapter 1 exactly where I'm going. So a lot of thought goes into the outlining process, but again, it's just a function of putting into some chronology that is logical that which I'm shown in my head.
Sounds reasonable.
That's a surprise.
So before we turn it over to the audience questions, I just have to ask.
Do you have more questions?
Well,
Yeah, okay.
I have one more question.
Okay, please.
And it's because I love bourbon, and I just have to know, do you have a favorite bourbon drink?
I don't drink alcohol.
Oh, well, okay.
At all.
No.
And isn't that a relief?
No.
Could you imagine this shit drunk? Oh my God!
That answers my question.
I'm completely sober. I can't even get through an interview in a public place in the Nashville Library with a bunch of... Do you know who else has been into this thing? They've had, like, real authors and stuff.
And a president.
No, like real
and
authors.
A former president. Jimmy Carter was here last week. So.
Really?
Yeah, you're in good company.
Me and the peanut farmer. Well, hey. No, but I'm glad I don't drink, and I think a lot of people are really glad I don't drink. Yeah, so I don't have a favorite bourbon. I have a lot of friends who drink around me, and sometimes I wonder if I'm the reason why they drink.
Well, I believe it's time for some audience questions
Great.
now.
Do you have anything that you want to know? Yes, in the back.
I haven't read this yet, so I don't even know what I want to ask.
Okay.
What I want to ask is, can we ask BDB questions?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. All right. All right, I feel better. Oh, geez. Okay. Hey, listen, do we want to go an over-under for what it'll take me to fall off the stage? This is entirely within my... All right, I'm going to step back here. All right, so question about Lassiter. Hit me. By the way, he's in Blood Kiss. And he has a scene in Blood Kiss that was so funny, I nearly wet my pants. I'm going to tell you too much, but imagine him coming in to an arguably public moment wearing a hot pink Speedo, yellow, what are those flipper things that you have for scuba diving, flippers, with a baby blow-up bouncy ring around his waist. And he was talking to Butch and V, and they were fighting, and you'll understand it's like this big thing. Anyway, so he's fighting with them. I got to stay away from that stage or I'm going over. Anyway, so they're fighting and I'm waiting for him to come on stage, and I have no idea what he's going to be wearing. And then all of a sudden he appears in that outfit, and he has those things you put on your nose. And you know those the scuba mask thing? Yeah, pushed up on his head. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. He's fabulous. So yes, you were asking.
Is he getting his own book?
Yes, of course. Absolutely. For those of you who read the Fallen Angels series, Eddie and Adrian are coming to look for him. And so I'm not sure how many books ahead that's happening, but he's definitely going to have his own book. Yes.
So no one sees Davina.
Yeah, so Davina, I think, is going to end up... I think she's going to end up in the BDB books. I really do. I think she is. I think she is. The question for me is, what is the relationship between her, the Omega, and the Scribe Virgin with the Creator? I'm very certain that the Creator is the same core deity for both, but I'm not sure how it all fits together. I'll be told when they're ready to let me know. Yes?
I am a newbie. I'm 4 books into the BDBs.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry. Just like to... Okay, good.
But do you see you got the Fallen Angels here and you've got the BDB here. Is there any other avenue of paranormal sprouting somewhere?
Oh, God. I got to get off the stage for that. All right, okay. All right. Okay. Maybe. You're just being honest. I mean, you asked. Maybe. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes. That's as far as I can go, though. Otherwise, they'll fire me. They really will fire my shit. They will say, we're tired of you. You pushed it too far. You're sick of you. You had Nashville Public Library drop the F-bomb and then the S-bomb, and then... I'm just so glad that we're not totally out in public. Yes?
Is Ian going to have his own book, or will he have a novella?
Well, he kind of, I think, no. Well, I mean, to the extent to which he and the Queen may come to be of some use to the Brotherhood, then yes. But I think he's basically done. Yeah. Yes?
I want pronunciation.
Oh, okay. Pronunciation. F-U-C-K is... Say it together. S-H-I-T? No, okay. C-U... No, okay. I thought you probably knew that one. All right, yes.
There's discrepancy in the audiobooks and what people say. Okay, John Matthew is married to...
Hex.
Hex. Okay. Layla wants to sleep with...
Quinn. No. Sorry, that was a joke. Oh, come on, Jesus! She already. That time has passed. She wants to sleep with Core. Yes. Oh, just those two?
Well, because Fran June changed it in the last book. So
No. Wait, yeah. So what happened? Well, okay. God, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Okay, when you start off and you're this little author and you start to write this series and no one has any idea how huge it's going to be, they don't ask you how to pronunciate anything. And then all of a sudden you get to be this big fucking hairy deal, which is great. Because then people will come to the Nashville Public Library and listen to you curse, and then your mother can call you in the morning and tell her, oh, God, you curse in front of all those nice people at the Nashville Public Library, and you're going to hear about this for the rest of your natural life. I digress. They'll call you later and say, oh, how do you pronunciate these things? So I told them, and then he started to say them the way they were supposed to be said, and then people got kind of jacked up. So they were upset, and I can understand why. I mean, if you've been hearing something for... I mean, like, I don't blame them at all. I just wish that, I wish that we had gotten those pronunciations properly done in the first place. And I mean, as the author, I feel like I'm the one who's ultimately responsible for everything. And so it's really my fault. I just didn't have the opportunity when it started out. And then by the time it got to be a big, fat, hairy deal, that time had passed. Red Sox.
I know John Matthews never going to find out that he's Darius.
Correct.
Is anybody else going to find out? And
So I've had that question about John Matthew finding out if he's Darius and other people finding out that John Matthew is Darius. I've had that question a couple of times. I would have to say no, because it would completely destabilize the relationships. There's no way, I mean, all of a sudden, Tor, who has been a father figure, becomes a younger brother almost. Like, I don't know how to properly do that.
maybe not John Matthew knowing, because he's never supposed to find out
He won't.
the condition, but maybe somebody like V knowing, because he's got a lot of secrets.
Well, Hex suspects it because of the shadow. That she doesn't know what it is because she's never actually been exposed to that before, although she's gotten exposed to it a lot since. For which she is eternally grateful. She's never complained. But I don't think that anyone else is really going to find out. Someone's like, high five. Woo! Yes.
The TV option,
Yes.
how's that going? What's going on?
I am contractually obligated to say nothing about it. I will say that the people who have optioned it are, in my opinion, exactly the right team to do it. So you have to realize, though, I mean, Hollywood gets pitched maybe 10,000 ideas a year. 40 of them get picked up for pilots. 12 of them get picked up for a season 1 run. 2 of them survive out of the first season. So the odds are stacked against us. But I do feel very strongly that it is the right team. It's in the right hands, the right writers, the right producers, the right studio. So, I mean, maybe there'll be a wonderful announcement at some time soon, but that's something for them. Like, once you give them the rights, I participate, obviously, but it's really their deal. So I can't say anything about it. But I'm hopeful, I'm hopeful. Yes?
With your Brotherhood series, I can maybe draw a map of the mansion
Yes.
from your words. Do you
Map of the mansion, words, yes.
But do you have a picture where you say he walked up this hall to the left, and do you do that with the?
I don't know, picture?
Well, do you just have it in your head? Do you have it down on?
Honey, I see them walking down, in various dressed, undressed things, and sometimes pink Speedos, which I could really do without. But yeah, no, it's all up in my head. And I want to be very, very careful because mental illness is not something to be, okay, seriously? F you. That was not where I was going with this. No, but mental illness isn't something to be blithely speaking about, but it's almost like a hallucination when I see the pictures. It's almost like you can it is as vivid to me as this moment now. So when I go home tonight, I can remember where everyone was seated and what the velvet on the chair looked like, and the fact that there's this little electrical thing with black tape on it there, and the way the flag falls over there, and the fact that there's a light out. I can remember all these things. It's like having a didactic memory, except it's visual and audio. So when I sit down and I go to write these scenes, it's like, oh God, is this being videotaped? Are you serious? Oh, that's horrible. Oh, God, that's awful. I'm so sorry. You can't, oh, geez. Should we start over? Should we try this all over again? I'm really sorry. I honestly I heard something while I was sitting in the background about like videotaping or whatever. I didn't think they were serious. Okay, my bad. Boy, I really wish we could run this backwards. Do you have the ability to edit out the curse words? And you do! Yes! All right, good. We're going to be fine. What was the question? Oh, so right. So I mean, I do want to be very careful because I don't want to, I mean, mentalist is not nothing to even joke about, but it is sort of like everything that's in there. I don't keep character maps because, like, for instance, if your aunt fell and she broke her leg and she gets a cast, people sign the cast, she goes in, she gets an x-ray, she gets another cast on. She is inconvenienced at a family party, she trips and falls, she walks with a limp for 2 years afterwards. The story about her tripping over a cat and ending up in the emergency room is something that the family talks about for like years afterwards. That is the way everything in the world plays for me. So I don't keep notes because I would be as likely to forget something about my mother as I would to forget about, which is not to say I don't slip up from time to time, but it is that immersive of an experience for me when I'm writing. And so the difference is that when you ask about, the mansion and the layout, and I see someone walking down the hallway, I can be in their eyes and feel the floor and hear the creak and hear their leathers, and if they have weapons on, what the chains sound like. And maybe they have an injury on their shoulder, so I can feel them compensating as they walk. And then I can go and I can be Fritz's eyes, watching them come down. And he's noticing that the shit kickers need to be buffed, and how he's concerned, and he has to tell Doc Jane about the fact that he's still limping and that Rage's, eyes are that blue. And then I can hear Mary's voice calling after him, So it's all that vivid, and you can hop from eye to eye and from person to person so that the room will feel different, the light looks different, the color of the clothes are different, the way the intonation sounds in the ear. It's that psychotically detailed. Do you know what I mean? So I don't, which is again not to say that I don't mess up, but it's that vivid to me.
Well, I appreciate that detail because we get a percentage of that, I think.
Well, one of the challenges of the BDB books is so it's like a camera lens, right, on the world. So how big or how small do you show? And so one of the things that I think is really interesting about writing Blood Kiss, which is coming out in December, is I deliberately restricted it to 4 points of view. One of the things that people have said about my writing, and I do think it's very true, is the first 4 books in particular were really couples-based. And then after Lover Revealed, the world starts kind of becoming a character of itself, and some people like that and some people don't. I can't go back because that's just the way my head writes now. But what I think is very interesting about it is that when I did Blood Kiss, I remembered what those first 4 books were like. So that it's really from Butch, Marissa, Craig, and Paradise's points of view. And it's a totally different writing experience. It's more simple. There's a clarity to it. There's an impactfulness because it's not diluted with a bunch of other plot lines. And so it was very educational for me because I viscerally understand what readers say when they say, I liked the first 4 books, or I liked the rest of the books, Because I think Blood Kiss and the legacy books are going to be more narrowed and focused and sort of more like those first 4 books. you know? So, yeah, yes.
Will Layla and Cora get any screen time, I guess, and the Beast?
Yes. That's all I'm going to say. But I will say, oh, wow, I almost gave that away. Whoa!
Nice catch.
Wow, wow. Okay, boy, am I not saying anything when I really want to because that camera's on me. So, yes, that's as far as I'll go. 2 more questions? Okay, yes. Yes, anyone? Yes.
Earlier on your website, you would have interviews with Raph and a few of the other guys where people were asking questions and stuff. And when you answered those, I'm assuming you answered them.
Yes. Yeah. No. I'm one of those annoying control freaks that I don't give third party, even if it's my own team.
I thought so because your personality shows through in most of everything.
Which is the good news and the bad news, isn't it? Yes.
I was the one twittering to you or Facebooking to you that I was in the bar having a vodka tonic when I was waiting for you to get here.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Possible degree.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So are you drunk? Thought I'd ask how the vodka went down.
I wouldn't be very good in that situation as well. But no, when you did the interviews, it was fascinating to me that each individual guy, you came through with a totally different, their personalities were very individual when you were being interviewed when you were interviewing them, because it was you asking them questions for the reading public. And they would answer, and I was just like, this is the same person asking the questions, but it's
not. It's not. It's really not. So I have these people who come up to me at cocktail parties, and they're like, so I hear you write about books. No, I write books. I don't write. Okay, if you write about books, you're either an English major or you're a reviewer. And then other things happen. And then they said, well, what do you write about? Expecting, because this is what I look like at cocktail parties, and expecting me to say things like gardening, fashion, which I know absolutely nothing about, hair, something like that. And I'm like, I write about vampires. And they go, oh, and it has absolutely nothing to do with me. I don't have tattoos. I don't wear leather. I'm not cool enough to write my books. I don't drink Hennessy. I don't drink anything. I drink cranberry juice with nothing in it. I've never tried Grey Goose vodka. I wouldn't know a tequila if it came up and bit me in the ass. But it's because I am the scribe. I really do believe I'm just the scribe for whatever passes through, And I've spoken to a lot of other authors who have a very similar experience. It's not them. It's not about them. It doesn't have anything to do with them. It has nothing to do with my life in the sense that I'm not really in the books, other than apparently the smart-ass comments, which I don't know. I hang out with a lot of guys, and yes, they're smart-asses, and I don't know. Maybe it's like a disease. I don't know, and I've caught it. But I just I don't know. I think it. You're right. They're as individualistic as every person I've actually ever known. And this is a software package that I was born with. I wrote my first story when I was 7 years old. And I have seen things in my head, and I've had people talking to me, and stories, like literally since I can remember having a thought. And it's just something that you're kind of born with, I guess. It's like being a good mathematician or a really bad mathematician.
So it's not like having schizophrenia.
I don't think so. I think it's...
Creativity.
Yeah, it's creativity.
Like when you're talking to the character in an interview, but that's what I was getting at, is like, it's almost like having separate personalities that are coming.
Take out the almost. It's just, you think, I could make a really dirty comment right now. Are you ready? It's like, what do you think, I've got 26 vampires in me? Yeah. My mother is so proud. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have any. It's more something that you just channel through, I guess. Yeah. Yes.
What is the best piece of advice you got when you first started writing?
What is the best piece of advice that I got when I first started writing? Okay, I'm going to be really honest here, and I don't know whether it will reflect well. I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't ask for advice. I didn't want advice. That's also part of me as a person. I don't like critique groups. I don't agree with them. I don't like critique partners. I don't want people forming an opinion about my books. I turn them into my publisher, and they will read them and ask, if there are continuity issues, they'll let me know that for some reason me and my research assistant didn't get. I believe firmly that if you are a writer, you need to just do you. Do your own voice, do your own shit, do your own work, be your own editor. And that means read books, deconstruct them, figure out for yourself what worked and what didn't work. Don't take classes, which is not to say that if you have, or you have critique groups that you like, okay, this is my well, yeah, I mean, and there is no one right way to do anything. For me, though, I would rather own the mistakes and own the triumphs myself, and I have effed up books, I have pissed readers off, I have made every mistake you can possibly make, but I'm still here because I own it, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, I apologize when I screw up, and I keep on doing it. And I really feel strongly that the best thing that you can do as an author, and you're an author, whether you're published or not, don't believe that bullshit about you have to be published. That is a lie. You are an author if you put even one chapter to a page. There is nothing that separates you. Were you asking because you're an author? Okay, good. All right. Just if I'm going to be on my soapbox looking at someone, I want to make sure that, but there is nothing that makes you any different than I am. We are exactly the same. There is nothing that separates us at all. The only thing is that I write every stinking day, 7 days a week, 360 a year, 365 a year. Did I mention to you I'm blonde? I just make the writing a priority. I have structured my entire life around it, my entire family's life around it. I make no excuses. I'm not interested in bull crap. I've got a hangnail, I've got a toothache, I've got a cold, not interested. I write. I am a writer. That is what I do. And the Cult of Personality J.R. Ward stuff is great. I'm very grateful for all the readers that read my stuff. If PR needs to happen, it happens after I'm done writing. Everything revolves around getting the word on the page. And when Sue Grafton took me under her wing about 10 years ago, she is a writer's writer. She really fundamentally believes that writers write. All the rest of the career stuff is all just conversation. And you have to challenge yourself, you've got to work hard, you've got to have a realistic opinion about yourself and what you can and you can't do. Because I'm not perfect. I write really bad women. I don't write good female characters a lot of the time. I'm better at the guy stuff. This is not bad. But you have to know that about yourself so that you can at least try to correct it, oh God, all right, look, I'll make this quick. So, no, I probably won't, I lied. So in the shadows, right? So here I am, and I had gone to my editor and I told her it's time to write about the shadows, Trez and I am, Trez was gonna end up with Selena, this is what was gonna happen. And I started to outline the book. And I had this broad idea. I knew that was going to be the core group of people that it was about. I had no idea she died. I didn't know. And so I started to outline, and I got close to the end, and I was waiting for the Ex Machina savior thing. I was waiting for someone to step in and save her. And that was why I went to the territories, because I thought he was going to find something there. And I was like, well, of course you'd go, and you'd find, and you'd do this pharmaceutical thing, and everything would be great, and then she would live. And then I thought, well, maybe the executioner would know something. Maybe there was something in the poison that they were going to clean Trez out with. Maybe they could bring that back to her, and it would matter. And I was waiting. I was praying. And then all of a sudden I get to that moment when she's on the hospital bed with him. And all she can do is blink. And I remember sitting at my desk and looking around the room as if something there was going to help me. and saying, no, she doesn't die. We've been through the Wellesley thing. I kill this woman off. I'm going to be in a shitstorm that I don't have time to deal with. I can't do this. And so I stepped away from the computer. I stepped away from my room because I write in my room. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't write about it. So I start to negotiate with the pictures. And Sue Grafton says, good luck with that. And I realized, I was like, she died. That's what happens. She dies. And I really struggled with it for a good week. Because I kept thinking, well, maybe I'm wrong. Have I misinterpreted this? Have I missed anything? And because, in this romance happily ever after thing with the guy and the girl, both of them have to be fucking alive at the end of the book. Or it's not a romance. Happily ever after means those two jackasses are standing upright and they're together. That doesn't have to be perfect. But one of them can't be in the ground or burnt up. And I was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I called my editor. And, I said, this is where I'm at. And she said, you got to write it. So I did.
And I must say, that was probably one of the pivotal points for me. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is real. There is no happy ever after in the real world.
I couldn't believe it.
Somebody's always going to die. I'm glad that you approached it that way and that actually happened, not because of the pain that it caused Travis, but this is real.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, I really, so that one, so there was one other little problem, and so that one read the book, and she came into my house, and she stood over my sink. We have this, island thing with the sink. She goes, I don't care what the fuck you have to do, but you do not kill either of those two babies. And I was like, well, I'm not killing anyone else. And she was like, those two babies are going to live. You're not killing them because we're not doing this again. I can't deal with any of this death thing. And so she just got her lawnmower out, and she just, oh boy, was that a conversation. But the thing is that it goes back to what I've always said, which is I don't have any control over this stuff. I don't. And I hated writing that scene. Hated editing it. Hated going through copy edits in it. Hated first pass. Hated second pass. Will not read the book again. It's a Zadis book for me. Will not read it. Period. Yeah. So on that, can someone ask a happy question? Not that wasn't it. That was a perfectly lovely question. Yes.
This is for her because she's too shy to ask.
Oh, that's okay. Do you know that I'm actually an introvert? No. What? No shit. Really? No, I am. I know. I swear to God. I'm actually an introvert. I know. I'm wrapping it up. I know. Okay. All right. Okay.
Who wants to know with murder if he's gonna?
Thank you.
So wait a minute. Yeah. So the question is about murder and when we're going to meet him. I thought we were going to meet him in the shadows. And this is another problem with the books is that I start out and I can only write so far. Am I doing your nut in by moving around a lot? Because it would probably be better if I just stayed in one place, but my adrenal gland will not let me stay in one place. I just want to apologize. What were we talking about? Right, yes. So I did think we were going to see him in the shadows. I really did. I'm nervous to say that we're going to see him in the Beast because I said we're going to see him in the shadows. These books are sort of like giant cruise ships, and so when you want to turn them around, when you want to get somewhere, you've got to. It's such a huge, long, big trajectory. You're not always sure where you're going to get to something. So he's definitely coming, and I think that. I'm going to get into trouble with this. Yeah, I'm just going to stop. Well, just that John Matthew has to get in the Brotherhood. He has to get in the Brotherhood, right? So the question for me is when murder comes back, what light does that shine on his and Hex's relationship and her past? Because we don't actually know a lot about what happened to her when, she left the sympath colonies and the humans found her and all that stuff. So I think that all of that is sort of inextricably. I'm done now. I'm done. I really want to thank you. Thank you.